Welcome back to the class, everyone. Double drops are upon us once again, which means it is time for a energy hoard video. This time we have a little bit of a twist because we now have additive drops for both Rex and Nisa just a few days before. So for those of you who are unaware of what is going on right now, we just got news right from CG regarding some really fun drops that are going to be happening here pretty soon, and they have a tendency to do this right before they drop a galactic legend or some other major event. And there are two, I guess kind of three separate things going on here, but we're going to focus really on two because one of them is for people who already have Crex or Nisa at 7 stars, which for those of you who do, awesome, but a lot of us don't here. So just going in and looking at what are these first two things. Number one, we're having a double drops event starting on August 23rd, ending August 27th. That is hitting light side, dark side, Cantina, and fleet battle. So just a little bit of a summary as to what that actually means. And it means that when you go to farm your character, whether he's on fleet, normal energy, or whatever, he is going to drop 2 shards instead of in the place of 1. Not only that, but also the gear accompanying any of these will also be doubled. Or even if you want to go to a node that doesn't even have a character on it, like our very favorite Cairo node that is over here on the light side, all this will be doubled as well. And for anyone who's super curious, if you have a hard node out there that is already accelerated, and that is to say that it already has 2 character shards on it, it will actually go all the way up to 4. So everything is doubled across nodes. And the normal inclination for us, the normal reaction, is when CG tells us ahead of time that they're going to be doing this, we start to hoard our energy up here at the top, because with how the math is broken down, it ends up becoming more beneficial in the long run to not spend your energy during the day. Don't let it naturally accrue. You're going to miss out on a little bit, but the amount that you end up spending during double drops ends up amounting to more value over time. I've talked about this before, but we'll cover it briefly here in the top part of the spreadsheet. If we look at the amount of energy that we get through just normal refreshes, again, normal refreshes is when we go in here to our energy, we click on fleet and we buy the 53 times. That accounts to 360 extra energy on top of what we already have. At that point, the energy will stop accruing naturally, but it will just sit there. And I guess that this one would be exactly at 464, for example. That being said, we're not going to be accruing energy for the rest of the day, but so we lose about 240, using the example of fleet energy, we lose about 240 energy that we would naturally be accruing because it'll pass the limit. And we'll end up gaining a whole extra 405 energy in theory, because we're then going to be going during double drops and spending all that energy that we saved, except for now it's worth double the amount it was before, meaning that per day, we're going to be netting 165 energy. So that's how the math breaks down and why it is better to hoard for double drops, actually lose the energy that you would normally accrue, and then spend it at a higher rate when double drops actually hit. And I have it broken down for Crystal Vital at what all that means. It is actually beneficial to do this with all 4 energies if you have the crystal income. The one that is still most important, and this was true the last time it happened, and it's true this time, is Cantina energy. The reason is very simple why Cantina energy is the most important is because naturally it is the most expensive. So when we're talking about doubling our gains on it, it ends up being doubly as high because of it in nature. Like right now for me, if I want to continue refreshing, it's 200 crystals because I've already done my first 3 for 100 crystals during the day, whereas mod or normal energy is currently sitting at 100. Now, that's the kind of the basics. Anyone who's ever hoarded for energy, they kind of already understand all those key concepts. And we have a new thing coming on now, although I guess I will mention this beforehand. The days that you need to start are listed here right now. So if you want to take a screenshot of this or something, if you want to start for normal energy, you need to start doing it rather quickly on August 19th. If you want to start doing it for the other 3 energies, you need to do it on August 20th. And the reason why is eventually you cannot buy those 50 or 100 crystal refreshes that we just showed to keep pumping up your energy to be able to spend during double drops, because there is a cap. That cap is at 2,000 for normal energy and 1,000 for the other 3. You can, for what it's worth, you can still collect your bonus energy that will fall periodically throughout the day, those 45 bunches you get, you can still add those as much as you want. But as far as spending the 50 crystals to get 120 energy, or the 100 crystals to get another 120 energy, that will cease to exist. You can't do that anymore once you hit these specific thresholds. That being said, you can actually time it just right so that you end up with 1,119 and 2,119, just depending on how it falls, if you can time it correctly. So the way we have this set up right now is on August 20th, the night of August 20th, this is exactly the amount of energy they want it to fall on. Now, this isn't going to be a guarantee that everything is just going to go completely perfectly, because you can get more energy from the web store. However, we can't really account for that. We have no idea which one of these is going to fall into. It could hit mod energy all 4 times. It could hit it none of the time. So we're under the assumption that really you're not even using the web store. If you are, I guess that's just extra that you get to spend beforehand. That being said, this is where you want your thresholds before, and then the second day, this is where you want them again. At this point, it's very simple though. From here to here, you just collect your energy. You spend your 350 crystal refreshes, 100 crystal refreshes, and then you end up with this perfect amount. Double drops hits, and then you immediately spend it all and start purchasing more. And by the way, again, this is a refresher for anyone who's seen this video a while ago. Energy is the most economical choice for your crystals in the entire game. So when double drops come around, it ends up being even more important, because you're taking, again, the most economical resource in game and doubling it. So this is important to do if you have crystal thresholds. Now we get on to the new important question. So at the very beginning of the video, I referenced the fact that CG has 2 different things happening at the same time. Well, roughly the same time. We get double drops starting the 23rd. But before that, we get Captain Rex and Nisa being added to 6 extra nodes each to farm them on for about 3 to 4 days right leading up to this. And I think that this is specifically intentional to get people to stop hoarding normal energy. And let me tell you, even if the drop rates are garbage, I mean, like, even if they are less than half of what we are currently getting from a normal node, which isn't a lot to begin with, this still comes out as better. And that's assuming you aren't really farming anything else or refreshing any other characters when you're farming them. So if we pull up, I did do the math on this. I kind of felt like it felt obvious, but I mean, if we have the spreadsheet open, we might as well be doing this. So assuming that Commander Rex and Nisa will be put on nodes that have 12 energy, which we don't know that, it could be a lot more than that, but that actually, it makes it worse to hoard your energy if that energy is higher, because you're giving up on more stuff as things go on. Assuming you have 5 attempts per node, which is how all nodes work, so that's pretty safe. And they said it's going on to 6 nodes. We're looking at a total of 360 energy that we don't get to use towards Commander Rex. And if you're going for Galactic Legend Leia, this is a no-brainer. If you were going for Galactic Legend Leia, you do not hoard your normal energy in the very beginning. You chase like crazy all of these nodes that they have for you. Probably don't even need to refresh any of them, because you're not only getting the 6 that are being added, but you're getting the other one that's being left out. So that is a huge gain right there. Or even if you're not even looking at Leia and you're like, oh, that's like 5 years away from me, like whatever. If you want Phoenix at all, and you want Commander Rex to be in there to actually make them a decent team, this is also something that we need to be taking advantage of right now. Not to mention with his Datacron currently out, if you're even remotely interested in that. Because when you start to do the math, what you're giving up by not spending those crystals on those bonus nodes on the days, it adds up, and it's a big number in the end. So coming back to our top chart here, we looked at, you are getting a crystal value of about 212.5 per day by hoarding energy. That's all the energy that you are, or that's all of the crystals that you are saving by holding everything back and then spending it later for a higher value, whatever it's on, whether it's on Chirotex or characters, it doesn't really matter. If you don't do those 6 nodes for Commander Rex and Nisa, or one or the other, it is the equivalent of 25 crystals to give up on the first extra node. It's an equivalent of 50, because this is how you would have to get it if you didn't do it. 100 for the 3rd node, and then at this point you would end up having to buy all those shards through the store to be able to make up for what you're missing, and it ends up being over twice as high of a number of 546 energy that you were, crystals that you were giving up every day by not just giving the handout that CG is giving to us. Now, Again, this is assuming that the drop rates are going to be just as good as they are on the normal nodes. I suppose they could be worse, but I mean, do the math. Like, even if they're worse, even if they're half as good as they currently are in their normal state, 546 divided by 2 is still larger than 212.5. It still comes out on top. And that is one character. If you're wanting to do both, then it's going to be 1,000 crystal value versus a 200 crystal value. All that to say, don't farm your normal energy if you have any intention at all of wanting to farm Rex or Nisa. This is one of the best values that we've seen in the game. I will say that it could be a little manipulated a little if you are also farming other characters. Being able to devote 360 energy not only to one but to two characters is actually very difficult. You're probably not doing that with 50s alone, so that can be challenging. It's going to be different for roster. There isn't really a way without making a huge table to start to organize this out for everyone. Oh, this player over here has like 2 characters. He's double refreshing one of them. This guy has 5. He's double refreshing 3 of them. But this is just to give you an idea how good of a deal this is and why I personally will not be giving up on it. That being said, the other 3, this is like prime real estate for hoarding. Like, these all should definitely be done, especially Cantina. We mentioned in the very beginning of the video that it's not just the best deal because it's most expensive, but on top of that, I just need Cantina so much. Signal data is the biggest blocker for me across the field on all of my relic characters. I have all the other salvage. Not to mention, I'm still missing a bunch of characters that I need, and we don't even know where Drogon and Scout are going yet, or Nisa for that matter. I don't think she's on a node yet. I'm still missing Cal. I'm still missing Tuscan Warrior. So I have a lot to go on Cantina. So if your crystal hoard is really low and you're like, all right, Calvin, numbers are cool and all, but I just don't have the crystal income to be able to do this. If you have to pick one, always pick Cantina. So that about is the end of the video. I guess I will say for those out there that have absolutely no interest in Commander Rex or Nisa, the normal energy is still decent value if all your energy is just getting donated to Chirotex anyway. So that is going to sum up the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, stay awesome.